So when it comes to vitality and longevity, living longer but having the strength to match it, not being, as I say, an old man, that's not what I want to be. I want to be an elderly gentleman. Hey friends, this is Colin Richards, and once again, I'm excited to be with you on this episode of the Lord and Richard Show. And we're in the middle of a large series called Wealthy, Healthy, and Happy for Life. And right now, we're digging into the subject of how to be healthy for life. And in previous segments, we've reminded you of the vital importance of what we eat, getting enough sleep and how to do that, getting access to great diagnostic tools so you can be proactive, not reactive. And in this segment, we're going to talk about a subject that I'm particularly passionate about, vitality and longevity. You see, a lot of times we attribute strength to youth, vitality to youth. And I believe that there are a number of ways that we can maintain and increase strength as we age. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand your natural body's decline is fighting against this. But many times what happens in our youth is we just take that natural strength for granted, right? All that flexibility, that mobility, that pliability, that viability, vitality, we take it for granted. And so what we need to do is as we get older, we need to stop taking those things for granted because we're losing muscle mass, as we've talked about, as we get older, 10% a year. So we got to fight that, get protein into your body. The most bioavailable is through meats. And we've got to also look to our lifestyle and make changes and adjustments. What we could get away with, I call my kids goats, right? They could eat anything. They can sit down and eat a whole bag of chips and then go out and play a volleyball game or football or whatever. That's not how it is as we age. Vitality is important through our entire lifetime. Now, a lot of times I'll ask people, hey, do you plan to live in your 90s? Because about 1 in 6 of the families that I work with is going to have a spouse, if you're married, wind up in the 90s. And a lot of people cringe, right? Because they just see that as a consequence of improvements in medical care, reactive care, sick care, but not really as a benefit. And so most people are averse to living longer these days because they don't want to be in a nursing home. They don't want to be impaired. But what if we could maintain our strength as we age, even increase it in some cases? As I've said on previous segments, I'm stronger and healthier than I was in my 20s. Not to say that my body isn't fighting me every step of the way. But here's a wonderful blessing. As you know, at Lord and Richards, we come from a background of faith. Lord and Richards is the Lord. And we use biblical principles in our radio program as the foundation of our financial teaching, but also this teaching today. Deuteronomy 33:23, Moses gave the whole tribe of Asher this wonderful blessing, the prophet Moses did, at the end of his life. He said, as your days, so will your strength be. Wow, what an amazing promise. Wouldn't it be wonderful if as long as you live, you're strong right to the very end, right? We've talked about some other things like eating, sleeping, but here we're going to talk about exercise as well as diet, as well as sleep, as well as advanced proactive medical care. But what a blessing to not only have long life, but to have the strength that matches up with it. This is actually what I pray. You know, Lord, if you're going to keep me around longer, if you find me useful, give me the strength to match that time. And we had a wonderful example in Caleb in the Old Testament as the children of Israel moved into the Promised Land. Here you've got Caleb, the oldest generation, because everybody else had died out, but he was allowed to come in, he and Joshua. And here we have a man beyond his 80s that's still strong and vital. What if you could go snowboarding, dirt biking, or just horsing around in your 70s with your grandkids? Wouldn't that be amazing? A lot of you are like, oh man, that just makes my back ache thinking about it. Can't spit it out. But you know what? That is possible. I have clients who do that. You see, my mind has been stretched by witnessing the life and the experiences of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients, literally thousands of people I've met with now at this point. And I've seen what's possible, and I see the difference. And a lot of it is just mindset shift, getting on the upper side of this. So when it comes to vitality and longevity, living longer but having the strength to match it, not being, as I say, an old man, that's not what I want to be. I want to be an elderly gentleman. I want to be vital. I want people to say, wow, he's got vim and vigor. He's got get up and go. I don't want to be sitting around in a wheelchair or an armchair. So here's some basics when it comes to exercise, and we're going to expand greatly on this in future segments. But for today, I just want to dial in on a couple of simple things you can do. First of all, add 3 days a week to your life of a half hour or more of regular exercise. Just start with 3. Start with 3. And specifically, I want you to do cardio exercise, but not just any kind of cardio exercise. I want you to incorporate what we call high intensity interval training. And it's actually easier than what we call steady state cardio, where you just get on a treadmill or something and do the same thing. It's bursts, short bursts of energy at your maximum or close to it, followed by similar time frame of rest. So you could do a minute on, a minute off, where you're just literally resting. You can lie down and rest, or you can just walk slowly. Do it on the exercise bike. That's one of the greatest tools, easy on your knees. But put that in for 3 days a week. And then 2 days a week of working on your muscles, strength training to maintain and improve muscle mass. Now, we're going to expand on this greatly, but that's something I want you to think about, is how could I add in regular exercise to my routine, be healthy for life? Folks, we want you to be healthy, wealthy, and happy for life. It starts, though, with building a plan and getting that written down. And so we want to help you here at Lord & Richards. We want to visit with you and find out your goals, dreams, and values. It just starts with a phone call.